Okay, hi students. So I thought I'd do a quick, a little video just to talk you through the next stage of the sweep tasks. So far, everyone seems to have done okay, getting the idea of the sweep working, making these sort of simple shapes. The only thing I had noticed, a couple of you, when we do a sketch, we need to make sure that it's completely constrained. What I mean by that is that every part of the sketch is positioned. So nothing is sort of left to guesswork, nothing can move. So if you look at this here, it's all black. So if a sketch is completely black, it's completely locked down, completely constrained. This part here, this vertical line, if we look at it, we can see it's got a vertical constraint. This end here is locked onto the origin, and this end here is locked onto this other part there, and it's 100 mil long. So it can't be longer than that. It can't be anything other than vertical, and it starts here. So it's done. This part here, again, it's locked to the end of the line. It's tangent, which means it's coming straight up and then continuing, and it's got a radius. And this point here is directly above the middle line. I saw one or two where maybe the end was blue. So if the end's blue, it means I can move it. It's not locked down. So it may look nearly there, but if I finish that off, my sweep would not have a vertical facer. It would be slightly at an angle. It sticks out slightly too far, so if I was going to be joining it with another part, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't fit properly. So that needs to be vertically above the center, and we can use these little tools here if you want something to be tangent or horizontal or perpendicular. So you can choose them and see what happens. So if I hit that and hit that, it's going to knock it back so it's directly above. It's gone black, so that means it's constrained. So when and you can see there's a little icon. So that's what it should be like. When we do something more complicated like this, it's more maybe difficult, or it's more important to make sure that we've got the whole sketch totally locked down and everything's in the right place. So what I'm going to do is just run you through how I would go about doing that, and just give you some sort of tips maybe on making sure that the sketch is completely done properly. So how would I do this sketch? I'm going to start here. You could start there, but I'm going to start here just for ease. We've got a straight line, so we're going to break the sketch down into the different parts. So we've got a straight line for 15.7. We've got an arc, which is obviously a tangent arc, going around 180 degrees with a radius of 2.3, and it carries on away over here so that it sticks out 7.1 beyond it. So if we start with that, here's a part. So my first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to draw the profile. So I'm going to draw my circle of 1 mil, and I'm going to start by doing that because then I know when I draw my path on this plane, I can get zoomed in and I can make sure that my path goes right through the middle of that profile. You can do it afterwards. I guess it's habit for me, but I tend to like to do it that way around, and I'll know it's connected. So we said 15.7, and then we want an arc. So here's an arc tool. There's different options here. For this one, I'm going to use a tangent arc. You could use a 3-point arc. A center point arc, not so good because you need to know where the center is. We don't know the center somewhere here, so it'll be up there and then down and around. So I'm going to go for the tangent arc. To use that, all you do is select your line near the end. It snaps to the end and it comes out, as you can see, at a tangent. And if I am careful, I should be able to get that to be vertically below it. If I haven't done that and it comes out not quite right, remember you can just do that manually and put that in instead. So that needed to have a radius of 2.3. Okay, and then we want another long line coming here, something like that. I'm going to put a dimension on that. That was 7.1. Check this if you want. 7.1 beyond the end. So remember, when you've got a dimension. If I just delete that a minute, you have to tell it where it wants it to be positioned. Because if I did this, it's going to be a weird, but it's linear dimension distance between the two. That's a straight line between the two. I don't want that. You could have a vertical one, or we obviously want the horizontal one. So think about where you're putting your dimension. That would be totally useless for us because it could be on a That means you can kind of move around in an arc. So 7.1, that's what we want. Then we wanted another arc coming from here, so a tangent again, and I want it to be over the top. I don't know if I can get that to lock in place. I don't know how big that is because I've got to work that out from my next line, and I want one more coming around here. Again, I want to try if I can to lock that in place there, and then one more line. So I'm just putting these in. Now that last one finishes directly below there, so I can do that. Look, excellent. So what do we know? If I go back to this one here, we have got, these are 1.2 apart, so that's going to help sort of inform the size of the position of this one, I think. 1.2, there's no size on there, no size on there, no size on here. This is a 3.5, and the center of that one there, look, is on the edge. Now if that is a 1 mil thick, then that is 0.5 from this center line, the one that we're effectively drawing, to the center of that arc. What do I mean by that? Let's have a look. So if I was to put my radius on there of 3.5 on there, and if I put my 1.2 here, there, and we want this to be, dimension tool again, that needs to be 0.5, because our sweep is actually going to be on either side of this line, isn't it? Because this is going from the center. So there, if you look now, that is suddenly all black. So it is all locked down. We've got all the sizes in right. We've got all these constraints are picking it all up. So if I now close that and go for the sweep tool, what I should be able to do, pick up my profile. Remember, you've got to select the path option here before you can select it, and it should then, I don't know why you have to select all the bits, but you do, as far as I'm aware. That is the paperclip.